Hi guys, you're welcome to the Chit-Chat show on Elegota TV and radio. My name is A.K.A. Matthew Esiogene. You love to call me the Elegota One of Sports. And as I promised you guys, that we will travel the globe as much as we cover everything that happens on grassroots in Nigeria. But we will travel the globe and we will talk to Nigerians in every sport that they do and try to get their stories so that maybe, just maybe one person will be inspired. Like I always say, I don't look at to inspire the whole world or change the whole world. All I just want is to inspire one person every single show that I put out there. And I do believe that the story of my guest today would inspire you. He's a boxer. His style of fight is a bit about like a bit of Mike Tyson. I watched his clip, a bit of Mike Tyson, a bit of Mayweather, but then sometimes this guy doesn't just defend at all. He goes all out there, throwing millions of punches in nanoseconds. And it does look like a troublemaker. And somehow there's trouble in the name. There's trouble in the name. But he's going to explain all of that. He's a Nigerian. And I love something about his shirt. His shirt have an American flag on one end, Nigerian flag on one end, and fantastic. He's got locks on his hair like I used to have, until Delilah cuts my hair and I'm just trying to grow it again. Well, I have no other person. I don't need to do a whole lot of this introduction. All the way from Houston, Texas, I have the one they call Trouble. But then his name is Ralphael Igbokwe. Ralphael Trouble Igbokwe, who is a boxer in the welterweight category in the United States of America. You're welcome to the Chit-Chat show on Elegota TV. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. How are you?
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for the nice intro.
All right. So I watched a few of your fights, especially the fights with Lugano Lorenzo.
Yeah.
That was your 7th fight. And I was looking at that fight and I was saying to myself, why the hell is he like going all out? I'm not the boxing expert, but I kind of like the way Mayweather fights. Defend, throw one punch, defend. But then when I look at you, I see a bit of Mike Tyson in you, a bit of Ife Jagba in you. There is brute, like, I'm going to kill you today.
Yeah.
Let's get your story. Let's start with Trouble. Where did the name Trouble come from?
No, it all started, we were just trying to find like nicknames. At first it was going to be like the Nigerian Nightmare. But I was like, there's, like when I started looking into it, there's like multiple Nigerian Nightmares. Like everybody was going by that Nigerian Nightmare. Then it was just different names. So it was one day I got into like a bit of issues, like where I had missed one of the championship fights during my amateur career. So around this time we were looking for a nickname. So going into the gym, I remember, I was just like, I know my coach was going to like quarrel with me, just like, how did you miss this fight? This was a big opportunity. So I'm walking into the gym. As soon as he saw me, he was like, here comes Trouble. Then I was like, yes, coach, that's it. That's the name. Like, and those that know me, like from small, was like I was that troubled youth, but we turned that negative into a positive. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's take a track back. Now we know where Trouble came from. Here comes Trouble, and then it's stuck. Let's go back to the beginning. Where were you born? Who are your parents? What part of Nigeria are you from? Because when you speak, I'm not hearing in Nigerian. All I'm hearing is an American. But then your name is Igbokwe. You cannot be more Nigerian than that. You are a Nigerian. Igbokwe makes you a Nigerian 100%. There is no argument about it. So take us back to the beginning. The 2 people that bring you to this world and the family that you belong to and what state in Nigeria or local government in Nigeria you're from. What kind of, let's take the journey back from the beginning.
Well, my mom, my dad, my dad is late, but they're both Nigerian from Anambra State, Enugu.
What did you say?
Enugu.
Okay.
Yeah, from Anambra. So my mom, she married my dad like 2 days after her leaving Nigeria. That's when they had me, October 19th. So that's 2 days after she left Nigeria, they had me. So I was born here in the U.S. Going back and forth, I did the whole of my secondary school in Nigeria. You know, one of those kids that they weren't listening, so they send them back to go get straightened out. And every day I thank my mom for that, because I know Nigeria really saved my life. Like that whole boarding school system and like the learning system and learning to fit, and like that whole being in boarding school just like showed you how to be independent and give you those survival tactics that you need to survive like in the world. I always told myself, anybody that could survive in Nigeria, they could survive anywhere.
Okay, let's track back a bit. You just said that Nigeria saved your life. Let me try and understand that, because quite a lot of young people think that, oh, I want to leave Nigeria. Nigeria is not good. I mean, let me go abroad where life is easy, everything is fine. When you say Nigeria saved your life, what do you mean by that?
Like in America, like it's freedom. You really have the freedom to do everything, but with those things you do, it has a price. Like maybe in Nigeria, for you slapping the police won't give you that same crime that if you did it in America, or you stealing in America won't probably be the same punishment you'll get in Nigeria. Like in Nigeria, they will beat you where like under the system where you can't even get like ordinary job. Like once you're in the system in America, is like you're in the system, and here where like racism is going on and all those things, is like I was like one of those kids getting trapped in the system and like not knowing what I was doing, just thinking, oh, it's okay to be with the cool kids, the people that didn't care about school, hanging out with the tough guys. And I basically taken life for granted. So me going to Nigeria, you see all these people struggling, you're like, man, I really had it made in America, but I was messing it up. And look at people here, they're thankful for life, even though they don't have light. The government is shutting off their light, but here in America, where we have light 24/7, I was taking it for granted. So it's just basically when I saw a different light and different side of the world, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta straighten up. And then the whole system where in boarding school, you're able to get beaten by the teacher, like flogging. Like that's a no-no in Nigeria, but in America. But in Nigeria, I think that's probably what I needed. Yeah, like they said, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's what it did for me.
So how did the ref go? What school did you attend in Nigeria? Let's go back to that first.
Oh, I was in Abuja, Stella Maris.
Oh, very popular school. Very popular school. Okay, so how did it's similarly a Jabota Chan, because boxing is, the way I know it, boxing is for street kids, you know. But then if you could attend Stella Maris, it means that you're not from a hungry home. So how did the person who goes to Stella Maris get in contact, come into boxing?
Just growing, look, that's why that whole, like, they didn't just send me to Nigeria because of vacation. Like, if I would have stayed in America, like, America would have really messed me up. Like when they got that trouble, like, people that call me trouble, like, oh, yes, that name fits. And, like, my youth is, like, something, like, I don't like to glorify because I don't like people, like, I know people look up to me, so I don't want to say, oh, because he did it, maybe I'll survive. Because maybe what I did, somebody else won't survive what I did or get that same luck, or maybe what you did, you might end up with the wrong cop that one day and something might happen. So I don't usually like to glorify like all the things I did, or I was doing this or I was doing that, because then a kid might, oh, because Trouble was doing this, he was in the streets, maybe I could get in the streets and be able to be a boxer. No, it's not like that, because everybody's story is different. The bullet that probably didn't kill somebody probably might kill you. So it's just different things. So I was like, being in America, like the system, if it wasn't for my mom, like sending me to Nigeria and like having that last, this has to be the way out. Like if it wasn't for that thing, man, I'm telling you, like Nigeria really saved me. So just that whole fighting, and then I was bullied, in America. Back then, being Nigerian wasn't a cool thing. Everybody would say, oh, you're a refuge, you're an African booty scratcher, you guys are poor. So it wasn't a cool thing. Like the culture wasn't like everybody didn't catch on to the culture. So just being bullied and growing up, like I guess violence sometimes me resulting in violence got rid of the bullying. So most times people would insult me. Instead of talking about it, I felt it was easier to result to the violence. I felt like me punching you was faster than telling you, hey, stop, please, I don't like it. So just growing up, it was something I grew up with. I wish somebody would have told me, yo, don't, but that's what I knew. So it just grew up with me. Sometimes those fightings, when you get older, those fightings land you in bigger trouble because now it's no longer a slap on your wrist. Maybe you may face jail time, enter trouble with police. So just that fighting. I remember one day, like, I got into a fight where it could have like landed me in serious trouble. And I remember that prayer I kept saying, God, look, if you let me make it out of this, like I'll never again fight on the street again. I'll go join the gym. And I remember, like, I don't know how that trouble I entered, like you would have thought it was over for me. And then by the grace of God, everything got dismissed. And that prayer that I kept praying for, like, God, if you let me make this, I'll never fight on the street. So it was like a week later, I went to a boxing gym, and it was like one of the best decisions ever. Like just looking around, seeing all the like pictures and like the plaques on the walls of people's achievements. Like I was just envisioning, like, yo, this could be me one day. I could be up on this wall where people are looking at me. So from that day and then entering the ring, I was like, yo, this is where I need to be. Like I found my calling. Like I love this right here. And then like even with the different boxers, you find like similar stories of people growing up fighting. It's just everybody growing, like they're grinding to get to, because nobody turns into Mayweather one night.
No, nobody.
Nobody turns into Tyson's overnight. So everybody's like that whole glorifying, oh, let me take a fight with Mayweather and just fall down. It's not like that. It's steps you got to get to there, because that won't be your first fight. So it's just steps, and then it's just like a grind. I feel like boxing could relate to everyday life, where you got to fight. It's like literally a fight to get to where you want to be, because it's not just a ring. It's the daily grind of waking up, training, making sure you're in the best shape, eating, being disciplined. And like I said, it goes to everyday life. Like in life, one needs to be disciplined. One needs to be able to fight every day for what they really need and what they desire, and get to where they want to be. So with boxing, it keeps me level-headed. There's some days where I'm stressing. When I get to that boxing ring, all I'm thinking, all my focus is straight boxing, because you can't be in a boxing ring thinking of a girl at home, because you would catch a match that day where if you're not 100% focused on that boxing. So it's just like that focus. It takes like literally when I like that boxing gym is like my favorite place to be. Like besides going on vacation, if something's on my mind, straight to the punching bag. And it's like I just take out that frustration and I leave the gym, I'm better. Like,
okay, so let's talk about some of the science or the psychology of your fights, or of boxing fights in general. You know, I've heard people say that so many things can make you lose a fight. The distraction from your wife or your girlfriend or your mom or your dad or even your coach. Some of the things that make you win fights can also make you lose fights. Once your mind is not there 100%. Let's take football, for instance. 11 people are playing in a team, and one guy can be off completely, but the performance of someone else can make them win the game. But in boxing, it is you against your opponent. Nobody's there but the referee to come in, maybe to set the fights apart when things are not going right. How do you manage to stay focused 100% on the ring?
That's that everyday grind of the practice, the coaching. It's just that, well, like you said, there's some days you will have an off day, or they say styles make fights, because of your style or somebody else's style can change the way you fighting. Maybe, and all fighters are different. Till this day, there's no fighter that I've had where, oh, he fights like this other guy. Every fighter that I've ever fought, they all have their different style. So maybe one day I'm fighting somebody who's aggressive, that's coming forward. It may be different from somebody who's always on the defense. So it may change my style to where, all right, because now he's on the defense, now I have to attack to where I'm not used to attacking. And I'm always on defense mode. So it's just really that repetition, being in the gym, having different sparring partners, and like just like very vigorous training where you're always in the gym studying, discipline. And then like you said, boxing is definitely a science.
Okay, so when it comes to you as a fighter, you've had, I think, 16 fights.
Yeah, 16 fights.
Yeah, you've had 16 fights. You've won 14, lost 2. I mean, you've knocked out your opponent 6 times, if my facts are correct. And how do you describe your style of fights? Like, I mean, I've seen boxers like Leonard Lewis, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Tyson Fury, a lot of boxers. How do you describe your style of fighting, your style of boxing compared to any other boxing? I mean, if somebody thinks of Ralphael Chukwuyekwu Igbokwe, who can we liken your fight, your style to?
Sure, that's a good question. I like Tyson. That's probably my favorite fighter of all times, and I love to engage. I'd rather be the one that's engaging instead of the one being on the defense. Like, I'm all about coming forward because I believe like if you come forward, there's no way you can lose a fight. So it's just the whole coming forward. It's the whole just coming forward and like just different things like that.
Because a few of your fights a few of your clips that I saw online, you were always going in. And I mean, in my head, I'm saying, what if somebody catch this guy with a hook or with a very, very bad left hand or right hand? But then is the risk we're going to take in life, right?
Yeah, that's the risk you got to take. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And I've been hit before to where like you get stricken up with a punch and you got to just keep coming forward. Just like life, you get hit, you just got to keep going.
Okay, so let's get off the ring. Let's talk about family beats. Talk to us about your mom, because you seem to like, I mean, your mom. Whenever you talk about, all the time you mention your mom, there's a smile on your face.
Yeah.
So your mom is the African sweet mother, right? That smile is back.
Nah, she could be that. She is.
And then there's this thing with typical every African or Nigerian mother. My mom, God bless her soul, she's late now, but I mean, my mom can slap you faster than Serena Williams will return herself. And yes, I've had that, but I mean, did going to America stop that from your mom? Like your mom now, like, oh, I'm in America. Let me.
My mom, she'll still slap me today. Like, there's nothing like as long as her hand can move, my mom will still slap me. Like, to the day, she still slaps me. Like, so it just keeps me on track. So it's one of those discipline things like where she doesn't shy away from, and just making sure your kid, like, hey, if they deserve a slap, she's gonna definitely hand it to you.
All right. So let's get about the other things that your mom do, like cooking, like catering for the family and all that. Talk to me about your mom. Like, introduce your mom to the world. Let's get to meet your mom.
I mean, my mom is very hardworking. You know, that single mother raising 4 kids, and then it was just like, really growing up watching her. I'm like, yo, if she could make it, and I don't have any kids, and I'm a man, like I definitely I have to. She just really gave us that whole learning of, look, no matter how hard life is, you just gotta keep pushing, and keep pushing. Like, if one door doesn't open, like another one will. Like she is definitely she's like the main example. Like the main, what's that word called?
Focus.
Like the main, really the main example of just watching somebody just grind from nothing, just being able to push, even when everything her back was against the wall, she still made a way. So just seeing her and 4 kids, and the kids she had wasn't like good kids. Not that we weren't good kids, but hey, we were definitely a handful. So just her watching her and doing it like literally all by herself. Like there weren't like men running in and out. Like it was literally like her by herself. Like no help from brothers and sisters. Like it was just literally her. So us just watching that just gave us like that whole mindset and like that grind. Like yo, we got to keep pushing. Like no matter like what. Like we can't let nobody stop us and get to where we're going. So just with that, and like us, our teaching, and like I said, like she was really quick, like to discipline. So, and like to the day, like I haven't met no opponent that's hit harder than my mom. So I guess she prepared me for this boxing life. So.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Like, no, I haven't met nobody that hit harder than her. So I guess she prepared me, like give me that whole.
Okay, so let's come to your shots. You have a Nigerian flag on one end and the American flag on the other end, and then the other part is black. Is there a story to that?
No, just, hey, I'm a dual citizen, so I'm a Nigerian, but also like American at heart. Like I live in America, I have American supporters, like really American family. I feel like anybody that's gonna come to me, spend money, come and watch me like day in, day out, like that's beyond like supporters. Like that's family. That's what family does. So, and Nigerians also do that. So I gotta show love to both sides.
All right. So what are the rituals? What are the things you do before a fight? Like you're preparing for a fight. Some people listen to music. Some people, do a whole lot of. What are your rituals before fights?
Like it's usually I'll always go get breakfast. Get breakfast at this place called Breakfast Club, and then most time I'll watch like fights, like watch old sparring videos of myself, watch like some Tyson like just watch like different sparring. Like all right, just think of a game plan. Then I like listen to slow music, and then always praying, like because boxing, like I know it's a dangerous game. There's people that have died in the ring. There's people that have gone into the ring and then come out the same. Like literally, like they're a whole different person. Like they're a vegetable. So it's like I always pray, like God, like take over, take over. Let me, as the way I went into this ring, let me come out with the victory. So praying once I do all that, and let everything be up to God and go do my part.
Okay, so right now you are in the welterweight category. You are hoping to go how far? I mean, some people tell you, I want to box for only 10 years. 10 years, I'm done. It doesn't matter because boxing, people call it a sport. I struggle to call it a sport because it's brutal. It's really like a dog fight. It's like a real life dog fight. So sometimes I be like, man, how long do you think you would stay as a boxer?
It's however God wants to take me. Like as far as we can go, that's how far I want to go. Like if I can box at 40 or 50, I do. I would do it. Like it's the love of fighting. Like I always tell people, like I don't care how much money, like that love of the fighting, like it's almost like a drug, and it's like because boxers, we don't fight every week, so it's just like that whole attention, like it's something unexplainable. Like when you're preparing, getting your hands wrapped, and then like fights prior before you, like you're finishing, is like your heart racing, like the adrenaline is pumping. Then when you coming out, you start hearing like the crowd just screaming, like that's a whole drug, like trouble, and then just walking down the ring, you seeing people like pat you on the good, like good luck out there. It's unexplainable, and then you get to the ring and it's literally just you and your opponent, and y'all just throwing punches. And that's a feeling like I don't want to be taken away from me. Like even if I made like 100 million, like I would still go box tomorrow for 200 million. Like it's not about that money. It's like that whole grind, like
adrenaline rush that you get from going into the ring, right?
That's it. Like
so
it's really like that.
Let's get into the roster of the people behind you. I read in a book, and once someone said that for a boxer to be successful, you need to have the right team around him. And Mayweather also said the same thing in one interview when he was talking with TMZ also, probably Instagram, I'm not sure now. But he said that the boxer in front is who you see, but the guy, okay, I think it was when his uncle died, and he said the guys behind the boxer is a lot more important than the boxer itself. So who are the people around Ralphael Trouble Igbokwe?
Oh, you definitely got to put the main coach, Dwight Pratchett. He's definitely a good coach. You know, that's really the fighter. That's not the fighter. So just listen to him. He's with the game plan. And you have your friends like the whole the boxing team. You got my cut man, Aaron Navarro, and then my second trainer, Bobby Benton. So it's all those just and then your mom, like, even though she's not in the corner, like, she's really in my corner. You know? So it's just like
what about your promoters?
Oh, the promoters, Lou Salvarez right now, and next fight up. So they're just basically just getting to that next level. Just keep boxing until you get to that next level. And currently, I'm ranked 20th in the nation. So hopefully, like, I'm gonna go up that next fight. Just keep rising. So I'm one day #1.
But when is your next fight? We have coronavirus shutting almost every gym down, shutting everybody's out. So what was the plan, the schedule on ground before coronavirus, before this COVID-19 situation came up?
I literally was gonna have a fight April 26th. April 26th, it was gonna be on Showtime, but they canceled. But literally tomorrow, I find out they're gonna do a fight June 27th, but it's gonna be with no audience, of course. I'll find out tomorrow if I'll fight June 27th. So that'll be the next fight. But that April 26th fight was supposed to be in Los Angeles. It's gonna be a Showtime. First time it's gonna be on Showtime, and got canceled. But I already know, like.
Sorry about that. I hope
that's cool.
There's plenty of Showtime to come.
Oh, definitely.
So let's move forward a bit and go. You looking at this whole current situation. I mean, some of the police have come out to apologize. The Floyd issue,
yeah.
You know, and all of the riots and all of the kick. As a black man, I mean, you go out to do workout, you go out to jog, and you're running around, going out to do grocery shopping. You've got your brothers and sisters, I guess. How do you relate to society when you see these things happen? Some is happening in Chicago, North Carolina, everywhere. How do you carry yourself in order not to be, like I always say to my cousins that are in the States, don't end up being an hashtag. I'd rather have you alive than quoting hashtag Black Lives Matters. How do you carry yourself to avoid a situation like that?
Like, already, I know with being a black man, we already have a target on our back, you know, all those stuff. And I know how the system is and how cruel the police can be. Not that every cop is black, but I know some, or you may run into one of those bad cops. And with knowing that, I just do my best to try not to put myself in those situations. Like, whether I'm driving, okay, let me try to drive the speed limit. If I'm going out, let it not to be too dark to where, okay, I'm an easy target to, or they could pick me because I'm the only car on the road. I just really try to keep myself out of those situations, or even if I am involved with those situations, I try to comply the best way I can. If I'm like, oh, I even give them my ID before I'm asking for it, to make sure I'm not raising their voice, because I know all they're looking for is something for you to aggravate them or provoke them into doing something. Maybe let me see if he's gonna raise his voice so I could tell him to get out the car. I just do to what, all right, let me not provoke them or say, oh, what do you want? Why are you pulling me over? Like, what, I just try to comply the best way and leave everything in the hands of God. Like, just comply, because I know all they're looking for is a reason for them to do anything. And here in America and society, like, it's their word against yours, and most time their word is always gonna outweigh yours. So with me knowing that, I stay out the way, go on my way, and don't do anything of where I could attract them to even come into my side or them asking me any questions or where I'm even put into those positions.
I said this on, I had a word on Dr. Umar Johnson's Instagram page, and I said this just about the same thing, that, yeah, once you know that, okay, these white cops are all out against the blacks, I mean, is there no way for every black man to teach his son and say, you know what, don't raise your voice on the cop. You're never going to win. Don't get an attitude when you are being pulled over by a cop. Yeah, you can still comply and be gentle and do all that, and things will go wrong. But the chances are that when you start raising your voice, when you start giving them attitude, it's going to aggravate into a state where they'll treat you terribly. So, do you think that the black community in America should do everything they can to always educate young people, especially young boys, that this is the new normal, this is the code? I mean, Martin Luther King was fighting this in the 60s, and people before him were fighting it. It's still the same thing, nothing has changed. So, is there no new way? Because if you keep marching, one person die, you march, there is distortion after some time. Okay, like I heard that police are apologizing. And I said to my friend, the problem with apology is, apology makes it look like everything has been solved. Oh, I've admitted my wrong. But people are dead. Apology is not going to bring them back. So why not find a new way and say, you can't tell me that, oh, we made a match and police apologize. Is that what you need? The person who's gone fatherless is fatherless. The person who's lost a son is grieving. So is there a way that black people can behave in society that would save them seemingly and reduce this problem?
Really, like I said, just complying and finding a way, because I feel like fighting fire, like, yeah, like they're saying, like, no justice, no peace, but for like how long? Like, how long would there be no peace? And like, you see all these people rioting. At the end of the day, this is where they're living, where they're destroying their communities. Like, this is where you're gonna live. So it's like, are we actually solving? Like, what are we actually solving, or what are we getting to? Like, I'm not against them doing it, but then it's like, I feel like there's another way to where, okay, you guys can be heard. Like, back then with that whole like, I feel like the whole boycotting system, like, hit them to where it hurts, like, their money. Like, okay, stop going on the metro, stop using like transportation. Like, I feel like if everybody like sat at home, like, I feel like there's different ways other than using like violence, because like they said, like, it all goes back to where, like, now we're giving them a reason that they want to shoot us, or go to other measures of using brutal force. Now they had the reason. Oh, I've been seeing like videos where people are insulting cops, saying this, but now I'm like, all right, if this cop decided to slap you or decided to like bring his gun out, you will now say, oh, he's racist. Why did he have to do that? Or meanwhile, you were just just antagonizing this man, calling him names. Like, at the end, regardless of that they're a cop, they're also human. So all they need is that little.
Okay, sorry about that. I guess the call came in.
Yeah. So it all just goes back to that whole saying, like, yo, just comply. Like, don't antagonize. Like, there's different I feel like there's different ways going about and destroying the city that you're living in, that you now have to sleep, that this the place you not just messed up. Now you don't have no malls because you set fire among it. So it's like, what are we actually solving? Like, I feel like they need it. And when we start talking about this, we'll be talking about this forever. I just feel like there's different ways to comply, like, basically comply. Like, don't fight fire with fire. Like, the policemen are fired. Like, you can't start playing with them and then cry that you got burned. Like,
and still talking about this issue, there's something that always crossed my mind. And I said that, okay, this problem has been there forever. It was there before we were all born. and the Black community have not created a culture that supports itself, a culture and a system, an economy system that supports itself. The Black guy gets money, he's going to buy Nike shoes, he's going to buy Mercedes Benz, he's going to buy Cadillac. I'm not saying all that is bad.
Yeah.
Buy $100,000 next chain with gold and diamond and all that, and he's buying the most expensive wine in the club. The other day I was watching The Last Dance, Michael Jordan's Last Dance, and something struck me, and I said, okay, they say basketball is a black man's game, right? Basketball is a black man's game, but there are no too many black people who own the franchise, who owns the club. So how is it a black man's game? And it goes for a whole lot of other sports, even boxing is a black man's sport. But then, who owns the gym? Who owns the business? If we people of color are making money and spending it there in investment that is owned by the white people, we are still giving them enough money to control us. So when will it come to a point where the blacks will realize, you know what, we need to start setting up our own investment, doing our own business, building our own community schools, hospitals, and all that? Do you think that's also would become a statement that will make everybody sit up and like, okay, these guys are organizing themselves properly?
Man, to each his own. Maybe it's some people that don't, they rather have that chain than rather have a business. It's to each his own. Everybody is with their own teaching. I know me, because of my teaching, I don't care how much money I have, I couldn't buy $1 million car, because I know that $1 million car, I can take half of that and go feed majority of my family back home in Nigeria. It's just everybody's teaching. So that's why I said to each his own. I may tell somebody that idea and they be like, why do I need to feed them? They didn't feed me when I was hungry. So it's everybody's teaching. Like, and I've shared this with some of my friends, and those are the responses I'll get. Oh, why would I give them some of my money? Did they help me when I needed it? Or why would I go help them? When my mom was bad, I didn't get any help. So it's just the way my mom raised me. That's why I don't care. Like I said, I could be the richest man in the world. I couldn't use my money and go and buy a Bugatti. I could go rent one. Yeah, I'll rent one. Let me drive it around. Tell people I just bought a car, but I know it's rented. Who will argue with me that it's rented? Or a chain? I couldn't. No money. I couldn't buy a chain. I tell you, I'll buy a chain 10,000 and go and turn around and tell you it's 100,000. Who will believe me? All these chains you're seeing, they all shine the same. So with my teaching, I know I use that money, go to Nigeria. Like I'll get a greater happiness knowing that I fed a family than me buying a $1 million car. Like it's just people's different teaching. So it's just, like I said, that's what I said, to each his own. There's some people, they're more than happy to have 100 chains than 10 businesses that they own so heartily. So they're more, it's where you find your happiness. You got to do what makes you happy. So
I agree on that completely. And so as we winding down, what do you have to say to a young man, maybe 10, 15 years old, and he says that I don't want to play football, I want to go into boxing? What should they do? Is boxing really that easy? Is it just about throwing punches? Punching bag? What do you say to him?
It's really like, it's a dedication. Like, even I have friends that be like, yo, I want to get into boxing. They think it's just fighting, where, oh, because you can fight or you're strong, oh, you can be, it's not just that. Like, it's really discipline. If you don't, I feel like if you don't have discipline in anything, you can't make it far. Even somebody that's in school, if you don't have the discipline to not go to party and stay home and read it, like, you're not going to pass that course. You're not, everything, I feel like you need discipline. So boxing is definitely one of those sports. And that's why I say I love boxing, because it relates to everyday life. You need discipline. You need to watch the way you eat. You need to watch who you're around. It's just a whole thing. Like, it's definitely, you have to be disciplined. You have to be dedicated. It's some days like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to go start running 3 to 4 miles. It's something like, oh, running, like, it's a dedication, because like you said, it's not just boxing. with boxing, you need to make sure you have stamina. What did you go do for that stamina? Did you eat the right foods? Did you do the right workout? Did you prepare for this fight? So, like they say, everybody has a plan until they get hit. There's some people that, yes, they're good boxers, but what happens when they get hit? Like, do you know how to keep coming forward, or are you going to shell up because it's too much for you? That's what I said.
So let's come to the food. You just talk about eating. You've got to watch what you eat and all that. And I understand that naturally, if you grow up with a Nigerian mother, you've got to be eating very heavy. Nigerian parents can be very disciplined, but they're very extravagant with food. Nigerian parents are very extravagant with food. What kind of food do you eat?
Like, I don't eat any, like, I'm away from fast food. Like, I don't eat anything fast food. It's just really a lot of grilled stuff. It's really like grilled fish, grilled chicken, eat a lot of salads. But like, I know like boxers that they don't eat right, but because of that vigorous training, they're able to afford it. Like, there's some boxers that don't work out as hard as other boxers. So I just do a lot of calorie counting, and like, maybe if I'm eating something and it has 200 calories, if I'm going to work out, I have to work out like double than that, because I know, all right, I burned it, now I'm working extra. So I do a lot of calorie counting, like count the calories I'm eating and go work out double or work out more than what I just ate. So then you have people that eat that, they'll go and eat cake.
Okay.
And go work out so hard to where they worked off that cake. And there's been times I do that. I'm not going to stay here and say, oh, I eat clean every day. There's sometimes, all right, I'm going to eat candy, go eat some sweets. I'm like, all right, man, this candy has 500 calories. I know this next workout I'm going to do is going to put me close to the ER. So it's just the price you pay. Everything is a sacrifice.
Okay, so how about the normal fufu, pounded yam, egusi soup, vegetable soup, all of that?
I mean, like, there's healthy ways of going about, like, if you eat soup, you eat in moderation. Like, I won't eat the fufu, I'll do like the oatmeal instead. I do the oatmeal, so it won't be like the pounded yam. It'll just be the oatmeal. I'm still getting the good soup.
For boxing, does your mom and your siblings, do they come to your fights? Because I always said
my mom has never missed a fight, even from like the amateur days.
So how does she react when you're taking punches?
She said it's like watching two men fight. Like, yeah, she gets nervous because she's seeing her child, but she puts it to her mind like, oh, it's just two men fighting and one of them has to win. So she's just praying that it's her son.
Okay. When you see your mom again, tell her I said she's a superwoman.
Oh no, definitely.
I really don't know if I can sit down and watch my son train punch in the ring and taking punches.
But what if he's doing good? What if he's holding his own, he's blocking punches, he gets hit every so. I feel like it's more bearable than if your son is entering the ring and he's the one being beaten on.
But I'm not going to take that chances. I don't want to know. I would ask him, oh, how was the fight? Oh, it was fine. It wasn't good. Fine. But I don't think I can stand it. Like, I don't know.
If your son is good, I'm telling you, it's more of an excitement. Like, oh, man. And they'll know there is times I've heard, like, my friends would go, she's like, yo, your mom, she would turn around. Like, there's sometimes she would turn away from the ring and be like, how's he doing? Ooh, did he hit? Who hit who? Where she'll be turn around, but she's hearing what's going on. Like, ooh, she was like, all right, what happened? But she's there in she's there in the present. Like, she'll be in the fight, but she's not watching. But at times she'll turn around and like, oh, he's doing good. Watch. And she'll turn around. So.
Maybe I can do that, because I mean, how do you watch your child get punched or punch somebody? I don't understand. But I mean, do you really think that? Do you like? There's a lot of Nigerians in the state where you are in Texas, for instance. There is a lot of Nigerian sportsmen. There's Blessing Okagbari there. There is A.K.A. Brume. There is Divine Oduduru, and a host of others. Do you kind of like create a Nigerian community of sportsmen and women where you guys meet and hang out maybe once in a while?
We need to do that, man. You just gave me an idea. But no, it's probably something like that, but it's nothing big where, okay, it's known. We should definitely like do something or like tap into making known, like bring awareness to the Nigerian sports.
Because I think it's something that should be done. Like you tap up if you're Jagba, Apoche, like see, like let's do something that puts because sometimes I think people put too much spotlight on the negative image of what is happening with Nigeria. For instance, in Texas there is a coach, Babatunde Olasande, who is coaching a team and doing very well with the team. A whole lot of Nigerians. So sometimes you guys should just do this thing, snap a few pictures, do a few short videos and put it out there and let it know that, okay, these Nigerians are pulling ranks together. I mean, because there is this advantage of knowing that the people are united rather than everybody standing alone on their own. And sometimes you guys could share ideas. And if you want to do, let's say, a back to home charity, it is easy for you guys to put together and say, okay, we're going to go back to Nigeria and give support to this community or that community or this group of people. When you're doing it together, it's easier than when you're doing it. It's just my thoughts anyway, but I think it's something that should be done.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So as we go, we'll look forward to your next fights. You said July, right? Hopefully.
Not June 6th.
June 26th. Okay, so hopefully we will definitely talk to you before the fight and see which you were. But I mean, we hope that you train. The record already tells us that you are a winner, and I mean, when you fight 16 fights, you've won 14 and lost only 2. It's a serial winner already. So, but then there's this thing I always talk about boxers that the next fight is the only fight. The previous one is gone. The next fight is the only fight. So don't get carried away with the fact that I always win, so I'm going to show up in the ring and win. Make it like it's the first fight and you want to prove a point. That's something I read. Vince Carter, I think it was Vince Lombardo, that said it out. Your next game is the only game. Forget about the previous games that you've had and play like this is the only game you will ever play in your life. And it's one mantra that has worked for me in everything that I do. So I want to say thank you, Raf, for giving us your time. And we would keep supporting you here, rooting for you, and hope that one day you get to that place where you are 40, you're 40 and you're still fighting and still enjoying your fight. And I have precious regards to your super mom, your team, your team of coaches and promoters, and everybody. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, man. God bless, man.
God bless you, man.